Hey guys, it's Max. I had a quick follow-up on my ULTY video from today. All right, I'm going to share the screen. Oh yeah, here it is. Okay, and I appreciate this. I have the best commenters. Multimedia Learning said an hour ago, which is when the video came out. This video, I recorded it around noon, but then by the time I released it, it was after the market closed. By the time you guys saw it was 4 or 5 o'clock. So yeah, it definitely, this guy's right, 100%. An hour ago, ULTY was at 937, not 1006. Check your data. This is really a deceptive video. Why not show the real poorly performing ULTY fund from inception? And like I say, I appreciate the video. I mean the comment. And of course, I don't make deceptive videos on purpose. Now I'm capable of doing it accidentally, but even in this case, I think I'm in the clear. Let me try to explain. But it brings up a good question. That's something that I wanted to cover from earlier, and it's absolutely one of the most essential things about looking or about trading these funds or about investing in these funds. Okay, so the lesson is this chart right here. What the commenter is referring to, and I've been working on the video since I started working on it last night, and then I worked on it this morning some more, and then by the time I shot it, it was like noon. By the time you guys saw, like I say, it was based on. I should have updated the data. What I was trying to show, I really wasn't trying to include. I wasn't trying to exclude the top, the drop or not. And that's what I'm really trying to say. The drop really wasn't there. I mean, it didn't really matter because you have to put, of course, you have to put adjust data for dividends. All right, because right there you can see it. It paid a 70-cent dividend. That drop that it was down, I mean, yeah, it happened, but it was like 70 cents. So if you adjust that, and not, this doesn't mean reinvest. I never use reinvesting. You would even do it better, but that's kind of cheating too. But this chart right here, just as you taking the dividends in cash. This is if you would have bought ULTY on day one, taking the dividends in cash. This is adjusted for the dividends. It's important to know what's really happening instead of that other chart that's always going down. That other chart's always going to go down. It's just because ULTY pays so much. Any stock that pays triple digits is going to be more likely to have a NAV that goes down. It doesn't mean that some triple digit payers like MSTY might not have an underlying that is so hot it can also go up for a while, but that's the exception and not the rule. Most of those, anything that pays that much is going to have problems on the NAV. That's just kind of the game. That's what I said. These ones that pay 100, they're if you put a truth serum in the fund managers, they won't say this, but they know they can pay 100 and they're hoping to only, lose 50 on NAV and still make 50 for the year, because 50 for the year is huge. I know that sounds brutal when you think about it. They're hoping to only lose 50 on the NAV. Yeah, no, and they aren't going to tell you that. But that's just how the math of these work out. I mean, some of these can pay 100 and not lose anything on the NAV, but it takes a really hot underlying. That's the exception and not the rule. All right, so the other thing I really wanted to talk about is it's the real reason it's important to show the chart like this. This is your actual investment. When I do technical analysis, and I think when a lot of people do, but leave me a comment if you're different, but what I want to know is the trend of my investment. Okay, so if I've invested in the SPY, That's the SPY. It doesn't matter if you hit adjust data for dividends or not. The chart looks the same because they paid you such a tiny dividend. So that's why it never is an issue. You don't even have to worry about this one thing. But if you don't get this one thing, it's going to be hard to understand how high yield funds work. That you have to hit adjust data for dividends. I did not uncheck it on the last box and then check it again. I'm telling you, I've done it. It doesn't matter. It looks just the same. But on this one, it makes a huge difference. When you uncheck it, it makes it look like you're bleeding money. Really, if you bought it on day one, you're about even. So this chart, not only does it show you more what reality is, because it shows you about even, you're straight sideways. Now you went down, but you're sideways now as far as that. So it's more in tune with reality. Also, when you want to do technical analysis, you have to have it on, right? I mean, you should always have it on adjust data for dividends. But if you don't believe me for any other reason, for this, when you do technical analysis, if you unadjust it, okay, watch this. I like to do RSI. I think a lot of people do. Okay, if you do RSI, I like to buy when it hits underneath the 25 line. It hit right there. I like to think about it. And that would have been a great place. That was a major pivot low. It did it again right here. Major pivot low. Right there, it didn't quite hit. And that wasn't, anyway, and that's fine. Then on times when it hit above, right here, it hit above. And above the 75, and that would, if you were thinking about taking some off, that would not have been the worst time. It hit above again recently, the past couple of days. And if a person was thinking about taking some off, that, that's why it's important to look at the charts this way. That's reality. If I uncheck it, it's going to show a chart that goes straight down, and it's going to show overbought the whole way. It'll show 8 buy signals instead of 2, because it's meaningless, because that's not reality. Let me try it. Let me try to explain it one more way. I know most of you guys agree with me, but let's try to explain it one more way too. I have one other way to explain it. But yeah, so you buy it here, you buy it here, you buy it here. You guys get my point. And then it's never oversold. It's never giving you a sell signal, because this isn't really what's happening. Because this isn't factoring in the money that's going into your pocket or going into your bank. Or you could be dripping it back into these. It doesn't matter, but it's going somewhere. The money's not disappearing. This right here, if you can't invest in this. This is not an investable asset. If you buy, you can't, if you go buy ULTY, that's not what your return will look like. Your return, if you want to look at what your return, if you would have bought ULTY on day one and held it till now, you would have been down, and now you're back about even on it. This is not, that's not reality. This is like, let's say you have 10,000 shares of ULTY. Let's say you have 50,000 shares of ULTY. Let's say you have a hot trophy girlfriend. Okay. That knows you share your finances with. Well, every time this hits your account, you're making so damn much money. You could say, well, man, every time this hits my account, she goes and maxes out my credit card because she sees we just made a $50,000 dividend, payment that we received one. So, there's reasons not to like this. This fund is high risk. I always go through, these aren't for everyone, especially the ones that pay triple digits. They are especially not for everybody. So, and like I say, and I also wanted to point out that, or to remind everyone, that I have no vested interest in you getting these. If you want to get it, fine. If you don't want to get it, fine. I don't, other than, I do, the YouTube puts ads on that you guys have to watch. And but other than that, I don't have any vested interest in you picking one above the other. I'm not, none of the freaking fund companies are paying me. And sometimes I like some funds, and I'm all over the map. You guys know that. Anyway, I'm just telling you my true opinion. But the other thing is, in ETFs, it doesn't even matter. There's no such thing as pump and dump. ETFs, when you buy into an ETF, it's more like you're buying into a partnership. If you want to buy ULTY, buy ULTY. It doesn't matter. It doesn't help me out any. It's not like I need you to buy ULTY for me to get out of my ULTY. That's how penny stocks work. That's how stocks work. ETFs work on a totally different system. And they'll just print shares for you, and you become part of the partnership when you want to, buy into ULTY, and then they'll give Jay and them extra options to play with. They'll tell Jay and them that they now have 2,600 options to play with instead of 25 when they get money in. They print shares up. If you don't like it, 3 days later you cash your shares in. All they do is they just get your money back and they destroy the shares. You don't trade money with other people. Yes, these funds want to keep people buying them, because if they get under 20 or 10, they might close them for sure. I mean, I'm not saying they don't. The fund managers don't have a vested interest in pumping them, but they don't need to be pumped so people that are in them right now can get out. They don't have it's not that type of structure. That's something I didn't say in the first video that I wanted to say in this video. But also, like I said, I just wanted to reiterate, I guess it's fine. If you want to look at the chart like this, it's fine. But just in your mind, you just have to adjust. Anytime down here, that was $1.06. You have to add that in. That's $1.41. That's $1.20. Because the other thing about, no one would invest in this because this chart right here is not something anyone would invest in, because it's getting murdered, and there's no investment that does that. Yes, you can buy ULTY, but that's not what your investment's going to look like. That's the NAV of this thing. The NAV and the investment are two different deals. The investment's really what matters, because compounding is how money grows. So that's why people say total return's all that matters. So that's why I would implore everyone to please keep it on adjust data for dividends. All right. But now let's give the other side of the story. This is about as high as it's ever been. It hit the top Bollinger a few times. Maybe, and it's not going to go up forever. At some point it will violate this and go the other way, just kind of like it did here. All right. And then it'll go down for a while, and then at some point it'll go back up. It's just the way things work. Here's what I anticipate. Because the new structure, I don't think that this was terrible. The market was only down 10%, and this fund was down, even including dividends, from top to bottom, a lot more than 10%. I don't even want to calculate it. Way more. It got killed right off the get-go. It got killed here, got off to a bad start. If we give them a mulligan, you don't have to. Like I say, I have no vested interest in you buying this. It makes no difference to me. But if we give them a mulligan and go off the August lows, they're doing about as well as any fund out there. There's a few that are above them, but they're above a lot of ones that are really good, like QDT, XDT, and all those. All right. So I think it was an interesting premise. But another thing, I wasn't trying to not show the whole time. Let's look at that. Let's actually look at that. So it's just amazing the run they've been on. So yes, ULTY versus the Qs. That's since August. That's since August 1st. That's not even since the exact lows. And also, this is not yet reality. You have to know everything here. See this ULTY right here? They're guilty of exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, the ending price is 934. So they've published the bad price in here, but the dividends collected are 342. Well, that's a cumulative dividend. The dividends collected yesterday were 342 also. So that's not right. Really, they paid a 70-cent dividend. This dividends collected ought to say like 412 right now. If it said 412, the total return, instead of saying 824, would say 15% or whatever. It would go back to being ahead. this is inaccurate, or maybe not inaccurate, but a day behind, or has not calculated the dividend in yet. So you really got to watch for that. You really got to watch for that. All right, but seriously, let's go back. Let's do the whole time. ULTY's been around since February 29th. Is that leap day or, yeah, right? Or, yeah, okay. So yeah, I mean, but look at what the chart looks like. So this right here, the bottom chart is not dividends reinvested. The top chart's dividends reinvested. And it does a little better because, of course, dividends reinvested always does a little better. I mean, everyone knows that, but that's kind of cheating. The bottom chart, dividends not reinvested, and it's the same as the chart I showed you where I unchecked it. The starting, it's the same story. It shows it's a stock that dipped and then came back, and it's right back to approximately where we started. So that's why it's important to look at it like that. Like I say, this is not quite right. This shows a little dip on the last day that's not really there because it's figured in it still has the old prices in there. Oh, wait, dividends per share went up because I made the time go up. Okay, well, these are the total dividends. But it still has not had, okay, that's true. I'm having to think. This 931 is still not right. It's missing the latest dividend, which was just declared the other day. So it takes a couple of days to get in here. But the latest dividend was 70.9 cents. So if the 70.9 cents were in here, this should be $10.02. At $10.02, this total return would be, well, I don't know, but I'll have another video as soon as they come on. And as soon as they update this, it'll probably be Monday. We'll have a video, but it'll be right about what, it'll be neck and neck with what Q's are doing. They've been close the whole time. Let's do it this way. Let's do it since April 1st. Okay, yeah, the bottom chart, you can see we're just kind of just treading water. At least it got back to you, and it sucks it got off to such a bad start. I mean, it sucks. It shouldn't have done that. I mean, because look, the market did not make a lower low. The fund made a lower low. That's not a good sign, and it happened, and so they've undone a lot of that damage. They're right back about where they started from. If you want to give them a chance, if you don't, like I say, it makes no difference to me. It's not like I need you to buy it for me to get out of my shares, or I mean, But anyway, did you guys get what I was saying about technical analysis, though? And that's the way that you really have to chart it like that. Look at the trend line. You saw when I switched it, the trend line becomes meaningless. I mean, this is the whole deal. If you wanted to add right here at 812 would have been a good time. Anytime it hits the bottom line, some people added the middle line right there at 834 would have been a good time. But then if you wanted to take some off, what do they call that? Core compounding? What does that mean? There's an influencer that talks about that, but you're trying to, or I don't know exactly what it is, but it's something where you take off when you have a profit occasionally. And anyway, it's kind of scaling in and scaling out of positions. A lot of people use Bollinger Bands and RSI and other techniques to do this. Well, if you don't have the dividends factored in, the RSI, all the stuff, all the things that you use are meaningless. It's not showing you the right area to, All right. Well, that's my 2 cents. I appreciate you guys for being here. You have a good day.